Well, we are learning more about efforts to investigate allegations of corruption in the Allentown Police Department, specifically theft at the hands of vice officers.
69 News reporter Jackie Farris has been following this story. She joins us here in the studio with what she's learned about an internal investigation at the APD. Jackie.
Well, that internal investigation focused on something called the Juan Fund, basically a large bucket of change reportedly containing hundreds of dollars. The first time we heard about the Juan Fund was in a whistleblower lawsuit filed by 2 Allentown police officers. We now know the city hired an independent investigator to look into it. We haven't seen the report, and the investigator couldn't talk about his findings, but he did give us some insight. What is the Juan Fund?
The Juan Fund, that's from Juan. There was a search warrant that was conducted back in 2018.
Meet John Doe. It's not his real name. He's a member of the Allentown Police Department. We're hiding his identity to protect him. Doe says during the execution of that search warrant, items were allegedly stolen by APD vice officers, including this life-size cutout of the suspect and this large bucket of change. The Juan Fund is just one of several allegations of wrongdoing listed in a 2024 whistleblower lawsuit filed by 2 veteran officers. 69 News has learned that after initially saying the lawsuit was without merit, the city hired law enforcement investigator Steve Nolan to look into the Juan Fund.
What it was, who knew about it, what it entailed.
A bit of background, Nolan spent 37 years with the Philadelphia Police Department working internal affairs. He now runs his own consulting firm. Are there things in that report that should be addressed?
Yes.
Nolan had to get permission from the city solicitor to do this interview and can't talk about his specific findings because he signed a non-disclosure agreement. He says he worked closely with APD Internal Affairs for 3 months on the investigation. He also tells us he interviewed 32 people, police officers and civilians, including the alleged suspect the fund was named after.
Some of them were frustrated because they've gone through this process before. That's what they stated to me, that my investigation, that they've been involved in other investigations, and they just felt kind of like their complaints had fallen on deaf ears.
Nolan says while there are things in the report that could rise to the level of discipline or termination, the work history of those involved and the passage of time are factors. Is there good evidence in your report?
Let me say yes and no. Yes, there's good evidence, but unfortunately we have the lag of time. We have a 6-year time period, so you lost some things. You lost an opportunity at certain things that would have maybe bolstered a case. So that's the only reason in this particular incident. I don't know if you'd have enough.
Near the end of our interview, I asked Nolan this simple but routine question. What should the people at home know about all this, you think? What's important? Coming from a police officer, you've seen this. What do we need to know?
The stench, if you will, has been brought to light, and now we're going to address it.
Nolan says he's not sure the report will be made public, but he says the information should be, and the community should see how APD addresses the allegations.
The city of Allentown has a problem on their hands right now with the police department, or a portion of the police department. So you really need somebody who's a good leader, who's going to dig into everything, look at policies, procedures.
Nolan says his investigation started in September and he turned in his report mid-December. 69 News submitted a right-to-know request asking for a copy of the report and how much it cost taxpayers. We were denied access to the report, but we were given a redacted invoices, several of them, for the investigation totaling just over $23,000. We also reached out to Chief Charles Roca. Chief Roca told us this was an internal investigation and not for public consumption. He said he would not provide further comment. A city spokesperson also issued a statement saying the city does not comment on personnel matters. Wendy?
All right, great job. Thank you, Jackie.